Hello. So today we're going to talk about LinkedIn. So is LinkedIn really a place for you to be focusing on if you are going to be searching for a new position in 2022? Uh, you're probably thinking, well, there's resumes, cover letters, application, all of that. There's already a lot to do. And do I really need to do LinkedIn? So LinkedIn is really a great tool for you to make you stand out over other candidates, to be able to showcase yourself in a different way than just on the resume. So I'm going to give you some tips for you to work on. And these are two tips that you could work on as you go if you're waiting in a carpooling or in a space where you have a few minutes. The cool thing with LinkedIn is that you could either update it on the PC or you could update it on the go from your phone. So these are tips for you to get started today and make those changes. Now, this is not a video to show you how to start your profile and get that started. That's something else, and there's other resources for that. If you need help with that, let me know. Otherwise, this is specifically on ways to level up your LinkedIn and some basics to make sure that you have this on your profile. So my name is Licia Gutierrez with Love Your Mission, and I'm happy to be here to share some tips for you on LinkedIn. And this is a day 2 of a challenge of 5, so that you focus on getting that job for 2022 by doing things in an order that you're not feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so let's jump into some LinkedIn tip profiles. So the first one is that on LinkedIn, of course, you have your avatar picture, your profile picture. So with that, make sure that it's professional, but that shows your personality. It doesn't have to be all buttoned up and doesn't feel like you. That's fine. But find a nice picture. Make sure that it's not blurry, that it's not dark, that it's a nice picture for you. A couple of tips as far as taking a picture. If you're going to do a selfie, do it when you've gotten your hair done or you got makeup on that day, and make sure that you're taking a picture where there's good lighting. Otherwise, do it in the mornings where the sun is not so bright, and you could get a really nice picture with a not so busy type of background also. So you could do that, or maybe you have a great picture that you love that you've taken, but you don't like necessarily the background. You could use a background remover app, and it will remove the background and then just add a color background to it. You'll see that's something that I did with mine. So that's a tip for you to make sure that your picture that you use to represent you on LinkedIn is something that you're really happy with, and that it's a headshot for you. And then on LinkedIn, there's an opportunity to create a banner. If you want a quick video on where I'm showing this on my personal profile, LinkedIn profile, then make sure that you sign up for this challenge, and you'll get the recordings, and you'll also get the video where I'm actually walking you through the specific parts of my profile and what I've done with it too. So the background banner, you could either have where it represents you, or you modify it so it represents maybe the image that you want to convey for the future position that you want. If you go to my banner or my profile, you'll see my banner. Right now it has a temporary banner because it's focusing on this particular challenge. However, I do change that up. So the background image can be just another image that you share that represents you, and you don't have to compete, and you don't want it to compete with your profile image. So make sure that you could be a little bit creative with that. Canva is a great tool for you to be able to create a banner there too. And it also has background remover too. So Canva is a tool that you could use for that. The next one is making sure that your headline in in LinkedIn, there's a headline where you typically would put, people typically do is put their position. Now, if you have been at home and you haven't been working, and you've been either stay at home or you've been a caretaker or something, and now you've opted to go back to work, so maybe you feel uncomfortable that you need to put a position, don't even worry about it. This is a great place to put something like, I specialize in, I'm an expert in, a statement rather than a position there. So you're good to go on that. So don't even stress about that part of it. There's ways to just put a little statement that really will highlight you rather than you feeling that you need to put a position there. So don't worry about that. You don't need to do that. So that's part of your headline and that's part of your setting. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure that you are aware of in your privacy settings, you have a way to set up the privacy and how people see you and how the public sees you. So sometimes if you set it up where it's everything is private and only your contact will see you, when recruiters or someone's searching for you on Google or search engine, another search engine, LinkedIn tends to be one of the top ones that will rise for the search of a person. But if your privacy setting is set up so that only your contacts can see your image, well, your profile is actually going to look incomplete because it's just going to have a shadow image of basically an icon of a person rather than the image that you have selected for your profile. So go into your settings and make sure that it's set up for public to be able to see that. You could limit on what you show if you don't want everything to show, but as you're searching for a position, this is the time where you can change that setting because you want to be found. I mean, that's actually a benefit of that. You actually want to be found. So make sure you change those privacy settings for you. Now, though, there is another private setting that to also watch is that where you could change the privacy setting of notifying your contact, your network. And so if you're trying to keep it on the download that you're updating your profile, then change the privacy setting so it doesn't notify your network. We want to make sure that that's not something. And typically I tell that to clients, especially if they have a current position and they don't want everyone to know that they're making changes to their profile. And so they don't want to notify that. So I make sure that we change that setting. But if you're completely fine with letting people know, hey, I'm making changes to my LinkedIn and maybe there's opportunities that you might have for me, then leave that alone, leave that privacy setting alone. So these are two different types of settings that are available there. You'll notice in LinkedIn, there's lots of settings that you could set up, but those are two key ones that I want to make sure that you are aware of. In LinkedIn, there's an area where it's the about section. You have up to 2,000 characters that you could use. Now, this is a great space for you to write in first person, but write maybe specific things that you want recruiters or hiring managers to know about you that are not on your LinkedIn profile, or not LinkedIn profile, I apologize, your resume. In your resume, you're doing a timeline of your positions and your accomplishments that you have. We talked about that in the day one of the challenge of tips for a resume, but it's a timeline of what you've done in your work history. And you can't add everything. Otherwise your resume would be pages and pages long. So in this about section, this is where you can maybe include other things that are not on your resume that you're really proud of. Maybe you're doing some volunteer work and you've been doing some really excellent work out there with this project, and you want to highlight some of the things that you've done for that. Why this is important in this particular area is that it also adds personality to your profile. Otherwise, it can be really dry. And if you have a recruiter or a hiring manager who's doing some searching, some sleuthing of candidates, they may stumble upon your LinkedIn profile. They're not going to stumble, they're going to get to it. Then, and if you are even candidates, if you are candidates who are equal as far as experience and background and knowledge, then this is an area where you want to make sure that you update. So your About section is a great place to really update what you've done so you can stand out above another candidate. So make sure that you use that wisely. So another area for in LinkedIn, you're updating your LinkedIn profile, is that you want to make sure that you're not notifying that you're looking at your notifications and you're responding to people who are reaching out to you through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a great place to network. You would be surprised that this is a place where you could potentially find your job, or recruiters will find you. So another tip is that once you have set up and updated your LinkedIn profile, set up the setting where you can notify recruiters that you're looking for a job. This is not the same as adding something like open for work. That's not what this is. This is to notify recruiters that you're open to be considered for a position. Don't do that until you've updated your LinkedIn profile. Don't press that. Once you've updated your LinkedIn profile, then you could do that. Now, if you want me to look at and give you a quick, give you feedback on your LinkedIn profile, I'm happy to do that. And so you just need to DM me and connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'll be happy to just give you a quick look at your LinkedIn profile and let you know, here's a couple of things that you can modify or change, or that you're good to go. And then you let the recruiters know that you're open for work. And that's a great place to do that. Now, another thing to do on LinkedIn is LinkedIn gives you a URL or a customized link to your profile. But typically it's like numbers and etc. It's not your name. So in your settings, go in and change it to your name so it's easier to find you. Otherwise, you're having to put this long string of numbers for your LinkedIn profile, and you don't want to do that, because you want to use your LinkedIn profile also to add to your resume, so that again, you're helping the recruiters or the hiring managers. You're dictating the narrative. You're letting them know this is where you need to go and see me. Here's my resume, here's my information. And we talked about that in day one of the challenge. But in this one, in the LinkedIn profile, you're saying, hey, come see my LinkedIn profile. Here's other information about me. So make sure that you change your setting to your name. So it could be, if maybe your name is taken, maybe it's your first initial and your last name, or your last name and your first initial, or maybe it's your name and middle name and then full name. But make sure it's a name rather than the number that LinkedIn automatically gives you for that. Okay. The other thing to do on LinkedIn, once you've been updating your profile and you've done what needs to be done, is seek endorsements. Your skills and endorsement area is so important to update for that. So one of the things to do with this is that you look to see what type of positions are you looking for. And for example, if you were looking for a position that's more marketing position, you want to show that you have marketing experience and that maybe you've done that in the past, or that maybe you're looking to do some fundraising and you've done that, but on your endorsement, maybe not that many people have endorsed you on that. So who endorses you? Well, that's your network. The network is your network. The people that you know that you've already connected on LinkedIn are the ones who could endorse you. And so you could ask some people, hey, can you endorse me for this specific things? Because on LinkedIn, the top 3 show up. Even though you could have a lot of endorsements, the top 3 are the ones that show. So if there's specific positions that you're really trying to show that you really have this skill, ask your network to endorse you, not only on the other items that you've because you indicate which skills you want to be endorsed on, but you let them know, hey, can you make sure, especially if they know you and they know that you have that skill, connect with your network and have them endorse you for those items. So that way they rise up to the top, because again, the top 3 are the ones that are going to show on your profile. And you can see the rest of them, but it will be on your profile. All right, so the next one is make sure that in your profile, you're going to see an area where there's audio, where you can record your audio. And with that audio, that is where you could record your name. So my name is difficult to pronounce for many people, and so I do show what my audio is, what my pronunciation is for my name. And so that's a great place for you to record your name. And also you could do a little quick commercial. So if you go to mine, again, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll see that you'll hear my name, how I pronounce my name, and then I give a quick little sound bite, a little commercial, and you could do that. So even if your name is easy to pronounce, go ahead and still record a little statement for you, so that again, adding a little bit personality, but that you see that you're professional for that. Thank you, Leticia. Glad that you're on. And so those are some things that I want to make sure that you're doing. The other thing that I want to make sure that you do is when you're connecting with your network, if maybe you haven't been on LinkedIn in a while, or maybe you've never created a LinkedIn profile, this is where you start building your network. Because as you're looking for a position, they may be able to help you. They may know someone of someone, and it's easier to find a job when someone already could advocate for you in a location, in an organization. So work with your network. Identify those who are maybe you haven't connected with a while. Maybe you have in your connection an old boss or something. So you could always through LinkedIn send them a DM and say, hello, how are you, to connect and start a conversation. Before you even request for an endorsement or a recommendation, start that connection, start communicating with them. And then when you do ask for an endorsement, then it's not like it doesn't come out of left field. The other thing to do is look at your recommendations on LinkedIn. Do you have any? And if you don't, again, this is where your network will come into place. So make sure, get some recommendations, because you don't want to have a recommendation that was 10 years old. Try to get some now, especially if you're looking for a job right now. This is the time to do it. And don't think that it has to be recommendations from people that you only worked with. Look in your connections. Look from your phone and look connections. Look at people from church. Maybe you do volunteer work out in other outside sources. Start connecting with them. And even though they didn't work with you in a company, they may know you in a different setting, and they may know how you work as a volunteer, or maybe you are very involved in an organization and they know you in that. They could give you recommendations in that setting, but it still is a recommendation. So recommendations from past bosses, current colleagues, but then also volunteer organizations, from maybe church, whatever places that you have. Look at your network and ask for recommendations. So that way your recommendations are they're more current than not. So again, this is also if you never have created a LinkedIn profile, or it's time to dust off your LinkedIn profile and it's time to ramp it up and level it up. So that's something to make sure that you're doing for that. So there's other tips that I have. If you haven't requested for the LinkedIn profile or tips sheet that I have, I'm going to put a link down below, so make sure that you get that. If you want me to look at your LinkedIn profile, make sure that you connect with me on LinkedIn, message me. And here's a pro tip for you. When you are starting to connect with people, don't just hit connect. Um, Make sure that you send a message directly to them. So in LinkedIn, if you hit connect, it automatically just sends them a connection. Okay. But if there are specific people that you really want to connect with and make sure that they know that you're on LinkedIn, is that hit personalized invite, and then just send them a message. Hey, love to connect. This is Leticia. This is Leticia. It's so good to see you on LinkedIn. Love to connect with you. And then it just has to be a brief little message, and you send them the message. And so then they'll get an automatic message. Some people are not on LinkedIn all the time. So don't worry that you may not hear from them immediately, because some people check LinkedIn once a week. Some people check it every single day. Other people once a month. So by sending them a message, it automatically goes into their inbox as opposed to just a connection. So that's a good way to make sure that you do it, by sending a personalized message to people. And that way, again, that also starts that conversation with people, because you can say, well, how have you been? It's so good to see you, or whatever, if it's been a while since you've connected with someone on your professional network. LinkedIn is a great location to reconnect with professionals that you've had in the past for you, connections that they're there for you, and really just to be able to see what's going on. So make sure that you're using LinkedIn, not only updating your resume and using some of the tips that I gave you in day one, but make sure that in LinkedIn you're also doing that. And take me up on connecting with me there. And if you want me to look at your profile, I'm happy to look at it and give you some feedback on that. So with that, thank you so much for being here, and make sure that you share this with others that may find helpful for them. So take care. All my best. Bye.